Christine Crooks, educator for Balanced Body, and I'm here today in this beautiful park, and I'd like to walk you through a little workout. So take a moment, find yourself sitting on top of your sits bones, hands behind your legs, and I want you to just let your arms support you in your posture as you take a few deep breaths. Feeling the ground underneath your feet. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. It's nice in these moments when we're trying to activate the body to give moments of activation, but also moments of rest, conscious rest. 2 more deep breaths. 1 more. Now, as you hold onto your legs, I want you to allow there to be a little bit of motion in your spine as you breathe. So you inhale, feel the chest rise, the lungs expand. You exhale, feel the spine round, you rock behind your sits bones. Inhale, rock forward, lift the sternum. Exhale, rock back, let a round shape come to your spine. Take that maybe 3 more times, breathing with that rocking motion. Let your head follow that direction of the spinal curve. 2 more. Inhale. One more. Inhale. Now, make sure you have plenty of space behind you on the mat. Take that breath. Exhale as you start to round back towards your mat. I'm letting my hands slide down my legs as I find myself laying flat. Now, once you're lying down, walk your feet a little bit closer towards your hips. Rock your head side to side. And just take a moment to feel the energy down through the ground. Now, taking that motion from the pelvis that you had before and rocking your pelvis back and forth on the ground. So you want to feel that you're rolling across your sacrum from your tailbone to your low back. One more time, rocking across that sacrum, along the sacrum, low back to tailbone. Now take your arms out to a nice open T position and press them back into the floor, into the ground. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. We can call this figure 4. Now this may be a great place for you to just breathe here and try to persuade that right thigh, right knee to open up the hip. You can place your right hand on your right thigh to give a little bit of encouragement to that hip. And as you breathe there, you can take your arm back out to that T position and start to rock this figure 4 shape from side to side. And as you do this, you're steering that rotation from your foot that's on the ground. Your left foot on the ground is kind of steering like a rudder from right to left, finding that rotation in the spine and that opening to that right hip. Last time, right and left. Coming back to center. Take that right foot back down to the ground. Left crosses over right, so left foot over right knee. Not crossing the thighs, but really just crossing the ankle over the knee. And then with that left hand, you can gently press open. Deep breaths. Open the arms back out to T. Active arms into the floor with just gentle pressure. Not so much that you feel tension in the shoulders, but just you feel connection to the ground. And now with that right foot rolling from side to side, you're creating that twist in the spine, as well as that opening to the hip on that left side. I don't know about you, but a setting like this, the park, it's a quiet morning, a wonderful, mindful time to just feel centered. Great practice for mental health. Support the quiet on a busy day. Last time, right and left. And then coming back to center. Plant your foot back onto the mat through the ground. Arms come back beside your body. Now I want to take a moment to just feel the back body get a little activation. As you press your arms firmly down into the mat, press your hips up towards the sky. And I love that in this moment, that cue is so resonant with the actual sky right above me. Now lower the hips down. This can be a hip hinge, so more of a lengthened spine, just pressing up to feel the back body, feel the legs, feel the glutes, feel the back, and fold the hips back down. Open the hip hinges to the sky and lower them. 2 more just like this. Just feel that connection and then release to the ground. Feel that connection. Release. Let's take 1 more and hold at the top. So you're pressing into your feet, pressing into your arms, opening the hip creases. Float your arms up towards the sky and then back towards the ground behind you. And then float the arms back down to the ground. Keeping the hips elevated, feel that heat building in the back body and the legs. Lift the arms overhead and lower them. 1 more time, lift and lower. Take a breath at the top. Now articulate, roll through your spine, your upper back, your mid back. Keep your hips up as long as you possibly can to really roll through that low spine. And then release at the bottom. Now take your right thigh into your hands. So I'm going to interlace my fingers behind my right thigh. And then just step your left foot a little further out. Right here, this may be a challenging connection to maintain. So maybe you just hold the outsides of the leg. But what I want you to try to find is length in that right leg to the sky. And then bend. Interlacing the fingers behind will give you a more solid connection through the arms and leg, but it's not absolutely necessary. After that bridging, we just want to find a little length and release. A little length and release 1 more time. Feeling the spine stays long on the ground. Now set that right foot down, switch, left leg, and find that extension through the knee, length through the leg, release. Notice that connection as your thigh presses into your hands, your collarbone can widen, your shoulders can glide down away from the ears. You feel a little stretch through the shoulders as well as the back of the leg. 1 more. Good. Now, keeping a hold of that left leg, extend your right leg out along the ground all the way. Energy through that right leg. Take a breath in as you pull your left thigh towards you. And then as you start to press your left thigh away from you, lift your head off the ground, roll through the spine, press your thigh into your hands to help you roll through that low spine. I know I needed a little help there. Once we're sitting up, take a breath, and then as you roll back down, I'm pressing for that connection to then roll through that articulation of my spine. Find the floor 1 more time. Inhale. Exhale. And lift. Now let's roll back down on this side. And then we'll switch. Extend the left leg down along the ground. Right thigh comes in. Breath in as you pull the thigh towards you. Breath out as you lift your head, peel your spine, and roll up to a seat. Find that lift in vertical. And then exhale. Remember how we started? We kind of rocked past the sits bones, roll through the spine. Inhale. Exhale. Giving some structure to grow from, but not to be limited to. Last one is going to bring us up. Inhale, lift the head, lift the shoulders off the floor, peel the spine, and extend. So let's take it to an all fours position. So what I'd like you to have is your hands under your shoulders to start, your knees under your hips. You press into the floor, not just your hands and feet, but your shins. Feel long in your spine through the crown of your head. Now take a moment to just find your cat and cow, right? We've articulated the spine already, but let's see how much range we've really accessed so far. Inhale, eyes up, tail up. Push the ground away, push down through the shins, down through the hands. Let the head fall towards the floor. Lengthen the spine up towards the sky. And then back. Now we're going to take this in and out of what I like to call lazy dog. It may actually be called that, I'm not sure, but I've come to this realization that, in some yoga practice, the upward facing dog, we can sometimes go through a lazy dog first. So notice where I place my hands, a little bit outside of the shoulders or forward of the shoulders. Now I sit the hips back, not to go into a rounded back, but really to fold my hip creases. And then as you come forward, you pass through the shoulders, you drop the hips, you relax the legs. Push into your hands to fold the hips back. Breathe in. Drop through, release. Inhale, fold. Exhale. 2 more. Now by now, your spine should feel pretty warm. Hopefully you're loosening up. Now we're going to add on to this. So coming back into that fold, you're going to pick up your right foot and step it forward. Now I'm stepping outside of my mat, and I'm also going to then drop my hips forward. They're not going to drop as far, but that's okay. That's not the goal. The goal is to start to open up this hip and the front of that left hip. Now I push into my hands, I bring that leg back behind me, and then I do the other side. Step that left foot forward. It can be wide, right? This is to open the hips, to open the spine, and then bring it back. Let's do that one more each side. Step forward, lower hips, open sternum, and then back. Last time. Lower hips, wide collarbone, lengthen through the crown of the head. And then back. Now coming back to hands and knees, stacked position, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, press into the floor. Feel that energy down through the ground and then long through your spine. I want you to take your left toes back to the mat. Your foot is flexed. Your right fingertips to the front edge of the mat. So we find length first, and then just float the arm and leg up and tap down. I'm breathing steadily in to lift, out to lower, but you can match that breath however it feels best to you. This is mindful for you. Set the hand and the knee back down. Take the right leg long, left arm long, fingertips to the top of the mat, toes to the back of the mat. Push through the ground with that right arm. Inhale to float, exhale to tap. Utilize the breath to support the movement. And last one. Bring the hand and knee back underneath you, sit back. Now we can take a rest pose. The knees can open, the hips fold back to the feet, the arms reach forward, and we take a little drop of the forehead. One more deep breath. Now coming up, let's take a little lateral movement. I think that's an important one, especially when we're trying to give the body some release, some openness. So what I'd like you to do, come up to a high kneeling position. And in this, your knees are right under your hips, your arms are out to T. Take a moment to breathe in, eyes up. Breathe out, eyes down. So we're keeping that vertical line of the spine, but the head can take a little nod. Inhale. And exhale. One more time. Now, arms out to T. We're going to take a side, I call it a kickstand, side kick position. So we have one leg as a kickstand, arms out to T. And we're just going to take a side bend away from that leg, reaching arm up and down rather than folding over. Think length. And then coming towards that leg, this is more your side bend. And then away from the leg, and then towards it. And one more, away from the leg, and towards it. I'm gonna look down at the leg this time, change in the eye focus, and then come down. Bring that leg back underneath you, other side. Find that kickstand or that support. So you're stacked pretty well over this leg. You're not leaning off of it. Arms out to T. We're going to go away from the leg first. Feel that vertical reach, top arm to sky, bottom arm to ground. Breathe. And towards the leg. Let there be a side bend. And away. And you might notice you have more range on one side. Yep, it happens. We've got one more on this. Away from the leg, vertical reach, and then towards the leg. Keeping the hips pressing forward, lengthen through that top arm. And then bring it down. Knee comes back underneath you. Now to finish with a little bit of back body and chest opening, what I'd like you to do is you come back onto hands and knees, okay? Now bring your hands a little closer under your chest so they're not touching, they're not right together, but there's a little bit of a closer angle than your shoulder width apart. And then I want you to take your hands angle slightly in towards one another. Now press into your left arm, reach your right arm up to the sky, little rotation, and then as you dive through, think about that spiral. And then open. What I like to think of here too, my shoulder orientation. I'm opening them away from one another. As I'm threading my right shoulder underneath me, my left shoulder is trying to thread back behind me. So there's always a relationship there. One more time. And open. Coming back. Plant that right hand. Open the left side. And then threading under, feel that spiral. And thread under. And open. Last one, threading under. And back to center. Now let's take the right leg, step forward. As you're in this little bit longer than 90-90 angle, I want you to take a moment here. We're kind of finalizing what we've done so far, rotation, extension, flexion. Sweep this arm up, pause here. One more breath. And then we're going to step back. We're not going to hold that too long, but we want to just find what we've instilled so far. Notice I'm not falling into this stretch, I'm lifting out of it. Now I'll keep myself in this orientation so you can see as I sit back towards my heels, you can be sitting flat, you can even be up on high kneeling for this, but clasp your hands together. And I want you to take a moment, try to stack your rib cage on top of your sits bones, your shoulders on top of your ribs, your head floats on top of the shoulders. And I also give myself a little bit of extra orientation to bring my head behind my heart. I got that cue from Elizabeth Larkham. Beautiful cue. Bringing the head behind the heart, clasp the hands, you reach the hands down towards the ground, but not with force. Think of just oppositional length. You're reaching up through the crown of your head. Close your eyes and breathe. A little chest opener. Some lasting length through the spine, through the crown of your head. Undo the hands, let them rest on your legs. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. And just take a moment to soak in the environment, wherever you are. Notice what sounds you can pick out. Are there animals? I can hear geese here. Oh, I have a friend who joined me too. I don't know if you could see the duck behind me. Hello. So it's amazing what can happen when you're in an environment, taking it in, absorbing quietly, mindfully, what you can attract. It's pretty cool. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope to see you next time. Thanks.